What if I told you that one simple thought could transform the way you live? A thought that could make you stronger, more focused, and at peace with everything life throws at you. It's an ancient practice that the Stoics lived by, a reminder that life is fleeting and every moment counts. This is Memento Mori, the Stoic art of remembering death. And while it might sound dark or morbid, it's actually the key to living a more fulfilling and fearless life. Because when you truly embrace the reality of death, you stop wasting time, you stop fearing the opinions of others, and you start living with purpose. The power of Memento Mori. In Latin, Memento Mori means remember that you will die. It was a practice deeply ingrained in Stoicism, used by great philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. But why would anyone want to think about death? Because death is the greatest teacher of life. We go through life distracted, caught up in worries, fears, and trivial problems. We put off our dreams, waiting for the right time. We stress over things that, in the grand scheme of life, don't matter. But the moment you remind yourself that your time here is limited, everything changes. The things that once bothered you lose their grip. The fears that held you back start to fade. And suddenly, you begin to live with urgency, clarity, and purpose. The Stoic approach to death. The Stoics believed that rather than fearing death, we should embrace it as a natural part of life. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in Meditations, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't a call to despair. It's a call to action. If you could leave life at any moment, why waste time on meaningless things? Why hold grudges? Why not pursue what truly matters to you? Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, said, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." We fear things as if we will live forever. We procrastinate. We delay our goals. We assume we have all the time in the world, but we don't. And once we accept this, we start to value life more deeply. How Memento Mori can transform your life. You stop procrastinating. When you realize that life is short, you stop putting things off. You take action today because tomorrow is never promised. You stop fearing failure. If death is inevitable, why waste time being afraid of failure? The worst thing that can happen is you learn and grow. You become more present. Knowing that time is limited makes you appreciate every moment. You focus on the now instead of dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. You strengthen your relationships. Life is too short for petty arguments or resentment. You start cherishing the people around you and making every interaction meaningful. You find true purpose. Instead of chasing temporary pleasures or external validation, you start seeking things that truly fulfill you. You prioritize what really matters. How to practice Memento Mori daily. You don't need to dwell on death in a negative way. You just need small reminders to keep you grounded. Start the day with perspective. Each morning, remind yourself that today is a gift. Ask yourself, if today were my last day, would I be proud of how I'm spending it? Use visual reminders. The Stoics often carry small symbols of death, like a skull or an hourglass, to remind them of time's passage. You can use a simple object or even a note on your phone. Journal on mortality. Write down what you would do if you had only a month to live. What would you change? What's stopping you from doing it now? Practice gratitude. Every night reflect on what you were grateful for that day. The more you appreciate life, the less you will fear its end. Let go of the trivial. The next time you get angry over something small, ask yourself, will this matter when I'm on my deathbed? If not, let it go. The freedom that comes from accepting death. Ironically, the more you accept death, the more alive you feel. Instead of fearing the inevitable, you learn to embrace life fully. You start taking risks, following your passions, and making every second count. Memento Mori is not about being afraid. It's about being awake. It's about living with urgency, acting with courage, and loving without hesitation. Because in the end, the only real tragedy is not that life ends, but that we fail to live it fully while we have the chance. So today, remind yourself, you could leave life at any moment. Let that shape how you live. And if this message resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Let's make every moment count.